This is John Lester, Director of Community Development at Reaction Grid, and today we're going to go over how to configure your Jibe kit and actually make your first build of your world. So here we have the Jibe 142 project kit open. You can see it indicated here, which is the current project that is open. And again, you do all of your editing of a Jibe world locally on your own hard drive, and so you basically do all of your creation, all of your editing of your world locally. But you also need to enter in your network settings, which are going to allow your Jibe world to be then published and made as a multi-user environment. So to do that, this is a one-time thing you have to do. When you get a Jibe world set up with us, we will email you this networking information, which is some configuration numbers that you have to enter. And the way that you enter them is you basically open up your project kit, and you open up the loader scene. Remember to open up a specific scene in the editor. You double-click on it in your project folder. So I'm going to double-click on the loader scene. So now the loader scene is the current scene that is being edited, and you can see it indicated up here. When you get to this screen, you then go to Window, Jibe, Welcome. Now this screen here is where you enter your network settings, and again you will have received an email from us that has all this information, your server IP, your password, and your zone, and everything else. You'll notice that there are some settings in here by default, and those are just default shared network settings that we have included in the Jibe kit to allow you to make sure everything is working okay. Once you've got your own settings, you'll enter your own settings in these different text boxes. You type them in as whatever these numbers are. And then once you've typed in your numbers, then you will click the save. You'll click the set as your default configuration, and then click the save button. And that's the only thing. You only need to do that once. That's the only thing you need to do. And then your Jibe kit is configured properly with your own unique network settings, so that you can then publish your Jibe world as a multi-user environment online, so that people from all around the world can access it. Now, how do you actually publish your world? How do you actually do that? Well, let's go back to our Jibe basic scene, and let's say that I've got my environment here, and there's not a whole lot here, but let's just say that I'm ready to publish my world. The way you do that is you go under the File menu, and you go to Build Settings. Now, the Build Settings menu, you have to make sure of a few things. Number one, you have to make sure Web Player is selected. And you have to make sure Streamed is selected, and you have to make sure that all these scenes are checked off. And the Unity editor will remember these settings so that they will you won't need to change them every time. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to say, okay, build my world. So if I click on Build, the Unity editor then asks me, well, where do you want to save the file? And so I'm going to say, well, I've got a directory already set up on my desktop, and I call it Jibe World Ready to Publish. So I'm going to select that folder as the folder to use and click Select Folder. Now, what the Unity editor is doing is it's going through your entire world, and it's compressing everything. It's taking all the scripts, all the objects, all of the content of your world, and putting it into a single file. And that single file will have the extension .unity3d, and that is your world. That is the file that you are then going to upload either to server hosted by us or on your own server, and that world will be ready to be a multi-user world. So if people from around the world are accessing it, they'll be able to see each other in a multi-user environment. So I'm actually going to close the Unity editor now because I'm done with it. And here is my folder, Jibe World Ready to Publish. And inside of it here, there's a folder called Web Player. Now these two files are the files that the Unity editor just created. The webplayer.unity3d file is my entire world. And it also creates an HTML file that is basically the web page that you can use to embed it. This is just an example file that it includes, and you can upload this or edit it to your own site. But what I'm actually going to do is actually just open this up in Chrome. Open it up locally, and you can see it's actually loading my Jibe world. So now I'm still accessing my world locally, but I'm accessing the world file that I was just creating when I published my world. So the Unity the .unity3d file. This is your world file, and it's always going to have the extension .unity3d. And you can actually see in Chrome here, I'm actually running my world locally. I'm just loading the HTML page locally. I can actually log in with my name. I can actually see my avatar, and I can actually enter it. So this is actually your Jibe world running embedded in a page, in a web page, locally, but you could upload this web page and the world file to any web server you want.